Sorry about that. And I had a fucking coffee crisis. I need to turn this mic down. Hold up. Shit. Whoop. Whoop. Hey. Two. Oh, shit. Hey. How's that? Give me a one in the chat if that microphone's rocking for y'all. Sorry, I had to run up the street. I realized we didn't have any fucking water, and I do not drink tap water. It's not happening. Thank you. Now, Hans, you tell me that the microphone's good, but I question your... I think your biology's good. It's just that I'm not sure what... I think, Hans, you listen to everything on the maximum volume. So let me know, everybody, if the microphone is good. I did have to make an adjustment. How about my music? Fucker. All right. Green gun approved. I appreciate it. How's everybody doing today? Plenty of coffee. You know what? Let me share this out. Let me share this out to some podcast groups and live streaming groups. If you could, please share the feed. Google Drive. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Zach. All right. Just share a couple of these out. I appreciate you guys tuning into the stream today. You see, I've got my support local Legion of Solace merch on today. Shout out to them. Doing what we can in the local and independent community. Let me I just want to get a few of these shares out and we'll get started. There's a lot going on in the tech, social media, and music industry. There is a lot going on. The full pot of coffee is done. I gotta at least put this in my own groups, right? Shit. I'll say that the toughest part of streaming is being... This is generic, but it's being consistent, I'll tell you. So let's do that. New England podcast, right? New England podcast community. There you go. All right. I appreciate you guys, seriously. Thank you for sharing the feed. Yo, it's crazy, man. We almost got 10,000. Uh-oh. What happened? Uh-oh, we might have had a bump in the road there. You guys still there? You guys still here? Sometimes that happens. That's happened before. Little buffering. Okay, cool. I said that we went offline real quick. So anyways, happy Monday. Glad you guys are all here. Hopefully some of you went to some shows over the weekend. Hopefully you did more than I did. Although we had an awesome band practice, I gotta say. But that's about it from us here. We're trucking right along. As you know, we have several musical projects going on and media, documentaries, audio, visual. We got a lot going on right now. But just stay tuned. You know we're always busy here. But over the weekend, everybody's learning about the sale of TikTok. So I figured we just go over that real quick. Most of you guys already know this stuff. But for those who've never seen the program before, this is a morning educational, and it's a stream for conversationalists. On the Honeycomb Hideout, we couldn't really fit all the media, social media, music, news into one program. Even with 2 hours, we couldn't do it. So we invented this live stream where I come on each day and I bring up topics about the music industry. I put them on the screen so we could all read them together. And we also cover like technology, social media, stuff like that. Every now and then I throw in a wild punch. But that's what this show's about. It's just about us having a conversation about the day-to-day emerging stories in the music business. So welcome if you've never been here before. Let me read some of this. Anthony says, got practice tonight and a headliner on Friday. Ooh. Well, I'd say congratulations, and I am. But I'm sure you deserve to be there. What's going on? What's the venue? What's the occasion? And are you headlining? Are you the co-headliner? Are you support? Let everybody know what you're doing. I'll jump into the story real quick, and I'll read some comments after. I promised to read stories today. So if you guys don't know, no sooner than the Prez put his signature to the act that will force Chinese tech company ByteDance to sell TikTok in the U.S., then a handful of American tech tycoons started chomping at the bit to offer their bids. For those of you that don't know, some large labels and other companies have severed their ties with TikTok, citing them as being unfair, while the United States, all parties included, in a bipartisan effort, agree that, this is a nuisance, so they want to force the sale of TikTok to an American company. So that's what's happening now. And I don't get into the religion of it. I'm just giving you what's going on. So, but TikTok CEO, forgive me for messing up his name, because I'm sure I will, Xu Zichu. Why wasn't I named something cool like that? So Suzy Xu said, Sally sold seashells by the fucking seashore. And then he sold TikTok. But first, Chu said that should the company fail in winning its legal challenges to block the legislation, good old ByteDance would rather shut down than sell to the U.S. According to a report from Reuters, sources close to ByteDance revealed that TikTok's algorithms are deemed core to the parent company's overall operation, making a sale of the app which utilizes those algorithms to be highly unlikely, as TikTok only accounts for a small share of ByteDance's global revenues and daily active users. The company would consider it less of a loss to shutter U.S. operations altogether. Did you guys get that? The algorithms are deemed core. That's like forget metalcore, forget deathcore. It's deemed core. Motherfucker. And there you have it. The company announced in a statement posted to Tuitio media platform it owns. I don't know any of these fucking people. I can't even speak this shit, let alone make any sense of it. That had no intention of selling TikTok. CEO Xu Zishu reiterated that point, stating that the company expects to win a legal challenge to block the recently passed legislation. This is why I needed my coffee, because there's no way I could have said Susie shoe without at least 2 cups. But should the sale of TikTok become a reality, numerous potential suitors are already lined up to make a multi-million-dollar bid. These finance and tech figures are led by Steven Mnuchin, former U.S. Treasury Secretary, who has openly announced his intentions to purchase the app. Seems like this guy's already got it out. Steve wants to do the Macarena. Good for Steve. Other suitors include Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick. Are you hearing that, Hans? You better tag Sean. Look at that. Activision wants to buy TikTok. Bobby, we all know Bob, who is said to have discussed a proposal with OpenAI CEO Sam Altman, who's a fucking winner in my book. Further speculation abounds that Perishing Square hedge fund chief Bill Ackman is gearing up to make a bid. Well-known Shark Tank multi-millionaire Kevin O'Leary has also expressed his fucking interest, stating he would like to buy the app. The biggest hurdle for any of these losers will be to pass the security regulators and get past and through the FTC, which rules out any existing major social media company in the U.S. Despite having the resources to afford a potentially $100 billion price tag to purchase TikTok and the tech expertise to build a new algorithm, companies like Apple and Meta are already under regulatory scrutiny. We all know that. So, every single one of those companies is under current antitrust actions, said Joel Thayer, principal at consulting and antitrust firm Thayer PLLC, in a stupid statement to the Post. It would be next to impossible for a company to already under antitrust scrutiny to buy a company that would give them more power and market share. ByteDance has less than a year to divest TikTok or face the consequences. Huh? You guys like that shit? What do you think? What's the deal? That's the opening story. Any thoughts on that? You guys don't care about that, do you? Do you guys want my opinion or not? I mean, I would just not even give my opinion if you'd rather not hear it. I mean, it's TikTok. Social media companies, all of them, are already accused of hurting us all. So, I mean, you know, they accuse TikTok of stealing our data, but everyone is stealing our data all the time. Like Spotify is a company from, what, Switzerland or something like that. So there's two sides of the coin, and then there's the truth. Okay? Instagram's been hurting little girls for years. And they can get together overnight, 72 hours. And all the people in our government that on Fox News and MSNBC all day, they get into these big battles. And in front of you on the news, all these political figures, in front of you on the news, all of these people argue and put on a show like they can't get anything done. Hear me out. This isn't about politics. This is about buying and selling. Hear me out. The big lie is that none of us can get along. that fat people don't like skinny people, brown-eyed people don't like blue-eyed people, straight-haired people don't like curly-haired people, the left side doesn't like the right side, blah, 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 blah. I hear that. I can tell you that's bullshit because music brings us all together. So that's scientifically bullshit. But I know what the advertisement is on Capitol Hill. I know what the advertisement is in all these big fancy buildings. And when things can't get done, what do they say? They blame the other guy. The short-haired guy blames the guy with the long hair. When the guy with brown eyes doesn't get his way, things don't go well, he says the guy with green eyes did it. The guy with green eyes says the guy with blue eyes did it. I understand. The fat guy blames the skinny guy. The right side says the reason why we can't get things done is the left side. I get it, guys. I get it. This is not a political discussion. I just want to get ready to deliver you the value of this. But just imagine this. If the advertisement is nobody can ever get along because we're all so different, then how did everybody settle their differences? How did everybody put their differences aside? All these people that can never make any decisions and get together and get along for the greater good somehow put away all of their differences. The fact that he had blue eyes and he had brown eyes, and this one believes in this God and this one believes in another God. They put it all aside and they all got together to ban TikTok. But there's nothing we could do about drugs. There's nothing we can do about homelessness. And American people have no place to live, and apartments aren't affordable. But somehow all sides can get together and put their differences aside to agree on TikTok. No, that's what... I mean, social media apps, American-owned social media apps, have been hurting minors, little kids, and girls and children's mental health for years. And we don't see both sides of the world leaders. We don't see the government getting together within 24, 72 hours to do anything about elderly abuse or child abuse. So how come we can all get along? How come we can put our differences aside on Capitol Hill for TikTok? How come we can put our differences aside in Washington overnight and all get together and agree on TikTok? If the advertisement is, when things don't work out, it's the other guy's fault. We just can't get along. It's impossible for us to pass laws to help people. It's impossible for us to pass a law in this country where we can pay for affordable apartments. Like, let me just forget about colors and weights and eye colors and what genre of metal that you're in. I think we can all agree that most of us that live here, it would be reasonable for all sides to agree on, apartments being affordable to live in. But we can't get something done like that because the argument is we are all too divided. We can't do anything about child abuse online in terms of American apps and American social media apps. Why don't we get together and agree? Why don't we get together and agree on solutions that protect kids right in our neighborhood from companies that are from our own neighborhoods? You feel me? So the point I'm trying to make is it's not a conversation about division. That's an advertisement. People are always trying to advertise of how different we are, of how our problems are so different from each other. But I disagree. I think it's a bigger problem when we can put our differences aside for TikTok, but we can't put our differences aside to protect little girls on Instagram. I don't understand. Fine, let's protect people against TikTok. Let's protect people against hackers. Let's protect people against foreign threats. But at the same time, it seems magical that Washington can't get together and help out old people or drug abuse or homelessness. We can't never talk about these things because we're so divided. We hate each other so much that we can't agree that apartments should be affordable. Do we hate each other so much? Are we so different? Like curly-haired people are so different than straight-haired people. Death metal so different than power metal that we can't agree that apartments should be affordable. But somehow we can all agree on TikTok. It doesn't make sense. So that's the greater point. Those are the questions that I encourage you to ask yourself, dude. Seriously. I just, you know what I mean? Just, it's like this, you guys. The most responsible people in the room are the ones that ask the questions. And that's what I'm encouraging you guys to do. All right, what's up with this Travis Scott thing? Do you guys remember this whole thing? So Travis Scott is headlining Summer Smash. Hosted over 100,000 attendees last year. Do you guys remember? I'll try to bring you up to date on this stuff. I don't know if you guys remember. I want to be as accurate as possible, though. Let's read a little bit of this, and then I'll add some context. What avalanche of lawsuits? As he faces multiple complaints over the Astro World tragedy. Okay, I'm going to look that up on the phone so we can all work together. When you guys watch this program in the morning, it would be helpful if you guys had like a small notebook or even your cell phone next to you. That way, because the whole purpose of this is not for me to know about the music industry and for you to not know about it. Far too often, I'll catch kids on Facebook or on social media. I'll see music fans and different people that are passionate enthusiasts about the music industry. And would you have it? Sometimes they claim I don't know anything. But I'm older than most of you guys, and I read a lot. So I'm offering for you to come on with me each day, and instead of, illustrating or accusing me of making things up about the music industry, we could just read it together. And see, if we all have the same goal, okay, and that goal is to be successful, and that goal is growth, and that goal is education and knowledge, if our goal together is to uncover and discover the truth about the music industry, then we're all going to win. But if your goal is to be a rock star and be more powerful than me and be right on social media, we're not going to win. But that's the goal of this program. I don't know what other people do. There are no bands, there are no companies, there are no bloggers. There's nobody in the rock and roll or heavy metal underground that's talking about the stuff that I'm talking about here. I could tell you that. My competitors are predictable. They will never take on the music industry. I can predict that nobody will have the balls to get up here and look you in the eye and talk about it and read it word for word, examine it, and measure it with you. No one's willing to do the work but me. So I'll be here every day. I'll be here every day consistently because no one else has the balls, the ability, or the power to. We got to do the work. And I welcome all of you and invite you all to be here with me every single day so we can start a new industry that is void of fantasy and folklore. No more mysticism, no more mystique, no more algorithms and images. We take a look at it, we measure it together, and then you don't know anything more than me. I don't know anything more than you. Because we're learning at the same time, it eliminates competition. Competition we don't even really have because our bands don't sound the same. We don't think the same, and we are united by our differences, not separated by them. All right, let's go. I'll never stop. Oh, yeah, Astroworld, shit. So, I just want to... Astroworld, Travis Scott. We're going to look up the tragedy. All right. This is just off Wikipedia, so, what the fuck, right? They don't know shit. But I'm just going off. Everything's bullshit. But let's roll with it. So, November 5th, so it's a couple years ago, November 5th, a fatal crowd crush. A fatal crowd crush occurred during the Astro World Festival, an annual music event that is hosted by American rapper Travis Scott at NRG Park in Houston, Texas. A total of 8 people were pronounced dead on the day of the incident, and 2 more died in the hospital the following days. Guys, that's 10 people died at that concert. The Harris County Medical Examiner Office declared the cause of death to be compressive asphyxiation, while the manner of death was ruled an accident. Man, that's really sad. I want you guys to let that sink in for a second. All right, so that's just to get caught up. So Summer Smashed reached out today with a lineup for its 2024 edition, now scheduled to kick off at SeatGeek Stadium, located 15 miles from Chicago's Grant Park, on Friday, June 14th. Tickets also went on sale today via Dice for these adjusted dates, with general admission passes priced at $385 apiece, including fees and shipping for the full weekend. The first thing that comes to my mind, everybody, this asshole has got to pay them medical bills and litigation bills. I mean, what do you want him to do? If you don't want, if this guy stops performing, he'll never be able to pay his. He'll never be able to pay for all those wrongful deaths. That's so sad. But this brings up a good point in a moment. I'm gonna write a note here so I don't forget, because y'all know I will. All right, so. All right. Those who purchase tickets during the 2024 pre-sale but are unable to make the Summer Smash new dates can request a refund or an exchange for the 2025 passes, according to organizers Lyrical Lemonade and SBKRBX, whatever the fuck that is. As a pertinent aside, though Summer Smash's release mentions each website, only the SummerSmash.com, not SummerSmash.com, was live at the time of this writing. Yikes, that's confusing. Back to the north of 50-act lineup, Scott taping his own home team record label for his first collaborative Cactus Jack performance, is expected to headline the opening night of the world's biggest independent hip-hop music festival. That's what I mean about people rebranding independent. This does not seem independent. This seems massively corporate. But I digress. Playboi Carti. When people make fun of heavy metal names like Sepsis and Butchered Babies and what's the other one? Who gives a shit? But when people make fun of heavy metal names, I always look at stuff like this. Playboi Carti. I mean, you got Corpse Grinder, and then you got Playboi Carti. Why make fun of anybody? You know? You got Willie Eyelash, you got Playboi Carti, Corpse Grinders, Sepsis Band, Stepsisters Band. You got what you got? Slipknot. I thought we were against suicide. We got one of the biggest bands in the world is Slipknot. So I'd say counterculture is the biggest thing happening right now. One of those the two big bands right now are Poppies and what's the other one? Poppies and Knock Loose. Do you guys like Knock Loose and Poppies? You guys fuck with them? Put a one in the chat if you fuck with them. Man, nothing against them people, man. They made me feel like I was a fucking expert. I watched some performance from them. They did a performance together, I guess, over the weekend. Boy, was that interesting. So if you guys like Poppies and Knock Loose, go check them out and their performance that they did over the weekend. Let me know what you think about that. Feel free to inbox me. Definitely a different vocal approach I've ever heard. So go check that out. Scott says it goes back to the Monsters of Rock in '88 when Guns N' Roses was performing. People get crushed. Sad thing, that is what happens when you have hundreds of thousands attending outdoor festivals. Dude, for real. George Corpse Grinder Fisher, one of the best death metal singers out there. Love me some Cannibal Corpse. Me too, dude. I've always been a Corpse guy. Now, I like all those old bands, though. Probably because I'm old. But you know what I mean? I like the old shit because I'm old. Motherfucker, I got gray hair. You know I like me some Corpse Grinder. That's the only way I knew how to scream. As copying him, I couldn't do it. I never could do it. But I tried. Yeah, I think you guys will like what's going on in the set now. For those that don't know, we've been working on a lot of stuff behind the scenes. So, we got everybody playing music in the band now, but you guys will start hearing some screams and solos and different stuff from Hot Sauce. She got some stuff coming for you guys too. She's nice with it. So it won't just be like one texture screaming anymore. It'll be like I do some low screams and Hot Sauce does some highs and mids, and we go back with solos and stuff. It's good. We're starting to get pretty good at it. I hope to see you guys at a show for sure. All right, let's get back into this shit. I'm starting to do my Ramblin' William thing. But I mean, how could you not become distracted with a name like Playboi Carti, who's headlined several times in the past? They're going to top the event's billing on Saturday, the 15th, following shows from Kodak Black, Little Tecca, and more. And here's what I got to say about this. These guys don't sound like independent bands. I think I can't say for sure. Let's see if Kodak Black is independent. Kodak Black record label. Record label. Label. Yeah, see, Kodak Black, yeah, so at this time, this is as late as late 22. It said he must fulfill obligations. We don't know if this is true or not. I'm just reading this from this is Billboard. This is what he told Billboard. So I mean, what the fuck do I know? Just hear me out. So remember what they just said, that this is supposed to be the biggest independent. So all the headliners here seem to be not independent artists, including Kodak Black, who says he has to fulfill his obligation to his current label, Atlantic Records. That's according to sources who note that Kodak Black still has 2 releases left in his agreement for Atlantic, and that was in 22. I don't know if he's fulfilled those, but at the time, I mean, even if he was headlining this festival now, I guess he could be recently independent. But are you really independent if you've been... I mean, if Slipknot doesn't sign with a record label, do you really feel that's independent? how do we define that? Finally, Chief Keef is poised to entertain attendees on Summer Smash's final day when the likes of Lil Yachty, Waka Flocka Flame, and also others will take the stage. Let's see if Lil Yachty, is he signed? I just want to show you guys how people rebrand independent. Everyone throws around independent and confuses the fans. The fans don't know the difference because they won't look. So this is what this is about, is me just looking at this stuff. Lil Yachty. Should I say Lil Yachty? Lil Yachty record label. Capitol Records. Well, so I mean, it's tough to say through Lil Yachty, but he's had a lot of success on major labels prior to him being independent. So that's two. Let's do Chief Keef. Chief Keef record label. Record label. Interscope. So he has his own subsidiary called Glow Gang, and it is part of his contract with Interscope Records. So, I mean, it's still under an umbrella. That's the only point I wanted to make. I just want to point out that, in the paragraph above this, they said it was going to be, and read here, the biggest independent hip-hop music festival. I know we don't really cover hip-hop music here, but we cover the music industry, and I love hip-hop personally, but I wanted to show you this is not just something that is happening in rock and metal. This isn't just something that happens in pop. The word independent gets moved around, and they use the word independent to remarket and rebrand independence when they need to sell tickets. That's what I was trying to show you. When they need you to root for the underdog, the artists rebrand. The branding is repackaged as independent. But they're not independent. And the issue with that is, what is the issue with that? The issue is that true and authentic independent artists that are also part of their own separate billion-dollar industry never get a fighting chance to get paid fairly. Does that make sense to you guys? That's what the problem is. Finally, Chief Keef is poised to entertain folks on Saturday. Regarding the Summer Smash 2004's organizational details, the outdoor event will house 3 main stages, one of them outdoor with world-class sports stadium per the appropriate companies. As described by the same entities, another stage has been custom-built and constructed on outdoor turf nearby, including a small third performance stage placed underneath the massive open-air tent. That must be the Bion stage. Just kidding. I don't know that. This is the part I wanted to get to. As we reported yesterday, Scott is still facing a number of lawsuits stemming from the Astroworld 2021 tragedy. One such complaint, levied by the family of an individual who perished during the deadly episode, is scheduled to head to trial in May. It goes without saying that the point doesn't bode well for the optics associated with booking the 32-year-old Summer Smash poster bills Cactus Jack itself as the opening day headliner. More significantly, given the Astroworld tragedy and the injuries that have occurred at different Scott's concerts, safety will presumably be the front of mind for Summer Smash organizers and staff. From grappling with a ticket sale downturn, high profile festivals, Summer Smash hosted over 100,000 attendees from all 50 U.S. states, plus Washington, D.C., and nearly 20 international destinations. According to organizers, approximately 50,000 individuals attended Astroworld 2021, which companies including today's largest promoter, Live Nation, arranged. And then how is it independent if Live Nations arranged it? That's not independent. Astroworld 2021, which companies include today's largest promoter, Live Nation. Apparently children could get stomped to death at your concerts, and as long as you just keep on performing, everything will be all right. I don't know. I'm transparent on it. I don't have any opinion on it. I just wanted to share it with you and how fucking crazy it is out there, man. You get $400 ticket so your kids could get stomped out at concerts. And this is why I said to people the other week about headhunting and punching old women in mosh pits and knocking over old guys and scaring little kids. You got these death metal kids head hunting and fight dancing and beating up kids that don't want to do hardcore dancing. That's why I addressed that issue in terms of there being designated areas. I know our festival that we're playing at this year at Rockfest has now allowed mosh pits, which I think is fucking awesome. I think it's absolutely great. I love mosh pits and support mosh pits. In my 20s, I used to bang around and break my bones too. But I think there should be a place where hardcore athlete tough guys can all be in a place and beat the fuck out of each other. The days of big, bulky, athletic 20-year-old guys sucker punching people watching shows are over, man. There's nothing cool about that. And Astroworld is a great example, a real-world example of people going to concerts, paying good money, and winding up in a hospital or dead. And if you ever want to know what the fuck the problem is with live music, I'd say it's that. Lawsuits, hospital bills, hatred, headhunting, broken bones, missing teeth. That stuff. I don't care about people that want to hardcore dance with each other. I think that's great. I do think it's fucked up when there's a middle-aged woman, with a drink in her hand at a club, not looking, and somebody does a 20-year-old kid does a spinning back fist and hits her in the mouth. I don't see how that's musical. I don't feel how that's metal. I don't feel how that brings us closer together. I don't feel how hospital bills and missing teeth is heavy metal, dude. I don't feel that way. So yeah, sometimes there's certain people that are so violent and so careless and so miserable. They behave this way on purpose to act like gatekeepers themselves, and that's why people can't occupy the dance floor. There's more shows that I've seen in the last 2 or 3 years of kids hugging the wall, families wrapped around the wall, while 3 kids beat the fuck out of each other in the pit. Like, I don't have a problem with mosh pitting. I don't have a problem with kung fu or gunfighting. I just think you should do that with people that do it. Like, don't wrestle little girls. You're 250 pounds. Wrestle somebody that wants to wrestle you. 'Cause, 9 out of 10 times, when you get 2 people that want to punch each other, they just stop. Because they realize it fucking hurts. When you get a formidable opponent, you get two guys swinging, and once they connect and hit each other, they're done. They don't want to do it anymore. So the guys that want to hurt each other and hit each other, get them together. What we want to do is remove these people from punching middle-aged soccer moms while they're trying to enjoy the show. What's heavy metal about? What's gangster about that? You know, if you heard about that shit at a gangster rap show, if you heard of some girl getting her teeth punched out, at a, you know, her nose broken at a gangster rap show, you say, what the fuck? And that's what we're seeing here, you know? 10 kids get stomped out at a rap show and die? That's the culture? That's music? That's what we're doing? Now, this is just my opinion, man, on this one. But I think that people that practice piano and guitar and learning how to scream and put on a great show, I think most of those people did not invest their entire lives to sit in court. So I don't get it. I don't care. You see old dudes in the pit too. I think I like I said, I'm a firm promoter and advocate for hardcore dancing. It can be as hard as you want it to be. I don't give a fuck if it's like the UFC. If you guys want to beat the fuck out of each other, I'm one of the people. I will love to sit you guys. I just want to see the tough guys beat up the tough guys. What I'm against, I've been to far too many hardcore metal dude shows and rap shows too, where tough guys are terrifying, bullying, and beating up people that don't want to dance. That's what I know of. I don't know these big groups of people where everyone is cooperating, breaking each other's bones, and being happy. Show me where that exists. I would like to meet those people. Genuinely, you hear the rumor when you knock somebody down in the pit, you pick them up. But that doesn't always happen, is what I'm saying. And I'm addressing that. I'm addressing, you know, the guys that are headhunting in the mosh pit at the rap show or whatever they're doing, and they see a group of middle-aged women having drinks and watching the show, and they go flail dancing and throwing sucker punches and wild punches at women, little kids, girls, old men, and people who don't want to fight, people who don't want to dance, people who spent $350 to go watch a show. And then bands and people wonder why no one feels comfortable, no one feels safe, and people don't want to go to live shows anymore. And the biggest, baddest, toughest dudes always go, nobody comes to my shows, and all the successful bands are such sellouts. No, it's because we don't want to beat the fuck out of our fans. We don't want to scare and hold them hostage. We don't want to terrify little girls. That's the whole point. We're grown up. We realize that hospital bills aren't good for 13-year-old girls. Court and jail isn't good for 20-year-old young men. That's the whole point. There are people that can handle mosh pits. There are a certain kind of mind and mentality and people that can handle. There are certain kind of tough guys and respectful guys that know how to hardcore dance, and they take care of each other in the pit. I'm not talking about them. I'm only addressing the truly criminal, sick motherfuckers who I've watched back fist a woman in the fucking face. That's the type of shit I'm talking about. I have no problem with, if you're a hardcore dancer, find hardcore buddies and then be hardcore together. Don't wait to be hardcore and scare people that don't know who the fuck you are. You know what I mean? Like, don't go to a show and terrify ticket goers. Don't make heavy metal so unattractive that people are scared to show up, and then metalheads bitch and complain there's nobody on the floor. Metalheads bitch and complain that nobody wants to go to our shows. And I'll tap guys on the shoulder and I'll say, stop punching the fans. Stop being miserable and angry and intimidating all the fucking time. Same thing with you rap motherfuckers. You're always looking like you're fucking tough, like you're going to hurt somebody. Nobody wants to go to a show if they feel like they're going to need to commit a crime or defend themselves. People don't want to go to shows where they're going to be humiliated, where they're going to get their fucking noses broken, where they're going to be stolen from, where they're going to have terrible memories and moments. Why do you think so many people don't come back to heavy metal or come back to hardcore rap? Why do you think the dance floors are dead? because people grown up and they realize they don't want to go to jail, they don't want to miss their teeth. It's too much money to go to a show. You're paying $200 to go to a show now. And that's for the smaller bands. I mean, you got to do parking garage. You got to get your beers for the night, full tank of gas. So, I mean, even if the ticket is $50, $60, you're talking to $200 a night. You get halfway through the show and some 20-year-old kid breaks your fucking nose. You never met him before. You're a middle-aged woman, you know what I'm saying, having, going out with your two sons to watch a metalcore show. And, you get two guys in the, you get two guys that had, a big pitcher of beer. Dance with the people that want to punch back. Stomp with the people that want to stomp back. Bang into the people that want to bang back. That's all I say. Locate and find them groups of people that you can do that with, that you can trust not to kill you. Shit. Young people can be in there too, man. It's all good. I've seen some pits where the young kids go in, people treat them nice and pick them up. I've also seen little girls get pulled out like vegetable soup. I've seen it. I've seen teenagers go into adult pits and come out, you know what I mean, looking like a big bag of steakums. Right. And the other thing, Chad, is if you are somebody that, especially if you're really that dedicated, like you're in your 30s, 40s, and 50s, and you still like being punched in the mouth, come over to my house. I'll punch you in the fucking face. You don't need a cool song for that. I'll punch you in the mouth. You don't have to wait for some girl. You don't have to punch a girl in the head. If you want an old motherfucker to punch you in the face, I'll do it for you. If you're in your 40s or your 50s and you haven't been punched in the mouth in a long time, I'm in my mid-40s. Come over to my house and I'll punch you in the face. But this way, it would eliminate us going to shows and scaring fans and scaring, young people away from the shows and ticket goers. So, let's read some of these because you guys have been talking. Scott said, that is the normal rule when you see somebody go down to pick them up. That's what it was when I was growing up. Me too. Hitting a female or anyone for fun at a show is not cool. That's my understanding too. You, in my eyes, are a tool if you want to go into the pit just to hurt somebody. That's my point. I don't know how that's going to make metal good or rap shows good. I don't know how that, for aggressive music, I don't know how that's going to. People today are not the kind of people that want to go out. If they learn that they're going to get attacked or segregated or hurt, they're not going to want to come to our shows. How are we going to teach people? How do we even know the music's good if you're fighting? How do you know? So some people will make the argument that none of these bands ever get discovered. How do we get people to discover these bands if there are people that are initially afraid to go to shows? So many of my friends have never seen my band play. And you want to know why? Because they're scared of versions of metal that they've seen on TV, and they don't want to be discriminated against. There's a lot of sexual assault and rape in rock and roll and heavy metal. And rock and heavy metal protect their rapists. It's a very popular tradition in rock and heavy metal for rock and heavy metal to protect and secretly hide and hinder their sexual assault criminal behavior. That is historically true in rock and roll and metal. So when you have these elements of violence, rape, drugs, assault, when you know what I mean, when you have all these elements involved, it's hard to get new people to give rock and roll and heavy metal a chance. It really is. And if you are in the inclusive group of hard rock and heavy metal that don't mind that sort of behavior, it's okay. It's perfectly fine. But if you are in a group that is truly inclusive and you say, man, I would like people to discover metal that aren't criminal. I would like people to discover metal that aren't racist. I would like people to discover heavy metal that aren't male. I would like people to discover metal that aren't male, that aren't white, that aren't violent, that aren't satanic, that aren't. If you want to introduce diversity into heavy metal, you have to stop making it scary, violent, and criminal. I mean, that's just the bottom line. We're never going to grow as people until we make it safe and attractive and fun to go to shows. Shows have to be fun again. In my experience, we all have different experiences with that, and you're entitled to tell your story on your own page. But in my experience, my friends, a lot of people that have not gone to my shows, we're not a hardcore heavy metal group. People have a hard time even calling us metal. Call us hard rock. People have a hard time coming to our hard rock shows because of the very real world violence and crime that is being reported every day from large festivals, from rap, rock, and heavy metal and other forms of aggressive music. If people weren't being sexually assaulted, if people weren't being beaten up, if people weren't being segregated, if people weren't getting hurt, then I would have a lot of reinforcement. But when I reference and I try to defend hardcore rap, heavy metal, and hard rock, when I try to defend these genres of music and try to get people on the dance floor, I hear mostly that they don't feel safe. That's what I usually hear. When people say, I go, well, how come you never been to a heavy metal show? They go, because I don't feel safe. I say, how come you never been to a gangster rap show? Because they don't feel safe. How come you never been to a death metal show? Because I don't feel safe. That's my experience. Now, if you are in the group where you feel safe and you feel included, then this idea to you, this mentality, is non-existent. You go, oh man, that doesn't exist. We don't need to include that. Well, that's what being exclusive means. That's not inclusive. Disregarding how other people feel and the safety of other people is not including them. So when people say to you, hey, when your neighbors say to you, when your countrymen, when your wives and your brothers and your sisters, when your girls and your brown brothers and your white brothers and your brown eyes and your blue hairs and everybody that is different than you, when they say, hey man, I'd love to be included in this and this is how I feel about it, and you pass them off, you can't complain about the dance floor being empty. Security and police presence is a huge must. This is why event insurance is so important. Jonathan, you are real about that, bro. The promoter needs to always protect their event at all times. For someone to die at their event is unacceptable. I couldn't, and that's what I'm trying to say. When the level of danger, and I don't need to go into all of it, you know the level of danger that we see every day. We're not talking about articles and news and opinions. Real world events. Who cares what neighborhood? Who cares what country? We're talking about the ones that you can observe. The ones in your own hometown. Not the stuff going on across the pond. Stuff in your own families, your own cousins, your own brothers. The stuff you're seeing every day. There's enough of these real world examples where we know we're running out of safe spaces, birthday parties, bar mitzvahs. We're winding up with less places to go that feel safe for people. And heavy metal festivals, music is one of the last places where we really do have signs of a unified front. So it takes strong voices and people to speak out, to encourage hope, and to continue these conversations. Scott says, it's not fair for the bands who are trying to get a following. What do you have to do? Put up a warning sign just so people can go to your show? Going to a gig should be fun for the fans and the bands putting on the show. And let me add this, Scott. I think mosh pits are part of the nucleus and fun of live culture in metal. I think hardcore dancing and what I like to call contact dancing is important in all forms of tribal and aggressive music. What I am against is criminal violence at our shows. That I want to make those two big distinctions, you know? I really do. Let's do one more. So I know I have a lot of these other like rappers and pop singers and different things leading the way of the conversation today. There wasn't a lot of rock and metal, but I will say this. This isn't a show about rock and metal. It's a show about the music industry. So I want to be able to look at Taylor Swift. I want to be able to look at Drake. I want to be able to look at Marilyn Manson. I want to be able to look at a much wider scope, a panoramic view of the stories that are happening in the music industry, so we can get in between the sentences and the paragraphs. We can get in between the English, and we can take deeper dives, deeper cuts and slices out of this stuff and unpack it where it's more comprehensive from a business mentality. Following legal threats from the Tupac estate, Drake has removed his AI-created tailor-made freestyle that included bars in Tupac and Snoop Dogg's voices. What do you guys think about this? I mean, there's a couple different things here that I think is funny. The Tupac estate? Well, why didn't they just why did they threaten a lawsuit? Tupac was gangster. I feel like the Tupac estate should have threatened him and busted a cap or done something like that. That doesn't sound like very Tupac. You know, Tupac would have battled them or something. Nah, but I'm just kidding. We don't need anybody busting any caps. I just think that that's interesting. You know, if Tupac was alive, do you think he'd be following a lawsuit, or do you think he'd bust a cap in that ass? What do you think it would be? It's a different day. So, and apparently, Drake is alleged to have used Tupac's voice with artificial intelligence, and I guess he created a Snoop Dogg voice too. Like, Snoop Dogg's alive. Why wouldn't you just call Snoop Dogg and be like, "Hey man, you want to be on my track?" I don't know. So the song's first two bars feature AI-generated lyrics mimicking the sound of Tupac's voice, while the second features Snoop Dogg. While the latter reminded mostly... I'm sorry about that. While the latter remained mostly quiet about the use of his voice, the Tupac estate responded quickly with a cease and desist to remove the offending track, citing misappropriation and misuse of Tupac Shakur's personality rights. Damn. I've never heard this song. The AI voice mimicry was an attempt to goad Kendrick Lamar, that's another rapper, in a speedy response for their rap beef, meaning he wanted to respond so quickly, but he couldn't write a rap, so he had artificial intelligence do it for him. Using the voice of one of Lamar's idols to do so, Kendrick, we need ya, the West Coast savior, engraving your name in some hip-hop history. A voice mimicking Tupac raps, fuck this Canadian, not going to say all the words there because it's a little racist, so we're going to stay away from that. I can't do that. We love Canadians and we love brown people and white people and all people here on the Sepsis page. So if I skip over a little bit of that, it's because I just don't want to be associated with that sort of stuff. Drizzy's actual verse also contained mentions of Taylor Swift and having to wait a week to continue their beef because the Tortured Poets Department dropped, while Drake has deleted the track from his Instagram where it was originally posted. Nothing is ever truly scrubbed from the internet once it is released. Fans have made copies of the tailor-made freestyle and are currently sharing it across YouTube. It will be interesting to see how the Tupac estate responds to these YouTube uploads, since it's a bit like playing whack-a-mole amongst fans who want to hear what all the hubbub is about. How many of you are going to go listen to it after this? Drake's release of the freestyle features an AI-assisted sounded like of Tupac would violate Tennessee's Elvis Act. Do you guys remember me covering the Elvis Act? Look it up. I covered it here. Where its provisions adopted nationally. The law has updated the existing rights of publicity law, in Tennessee to include voice, and expands the application of such law beyond commercial use, i.e., even though Drake didn't upload the track to DSPs for profit, it's still an illegal use of Tupac's right of publicity. There you go. The AI battle continues. What do you guys think? Tupac AI is crawling in his grave. Yeah, he probably is. Tiger says, different era of times, plus Tupac isn't even alive to defend what he'd be able to do. Some people would think that he'd bust a cap, but some people think he wouldn't bust a cap. No, you got a point there. Yeah, we really don't know. He might be a much older, wiser, smarter, cooler Tupac. He might be Tupac and making metal music, or he might be Tupac doing blues music. He might be a whole different Tupac than he is today. I think he died really young. I think he was still a child, really, like under 25, right? Don't quote me on that. I hope you guys have a great week. I'll be back tomorrow with more music industry, social media, and technology news. I appreciate all of y'all, and I'll see you tomorrow.